So tonight I'm going to be discussing the series Hot Gimmick. This is an interesting series. I wanted to check it out before I went ahead and bought it. I rented it from the library, and having read it today, all of it, I don't know how I feel about it, and I don't know if I want to continue. So let's discuss that. Hot Gimmick is by Miki Aihara. It was originally published in 2000-2005 in Bitsukami magazine. It was then ported to English in 2003 by Viz Media. It's a complete series, so you can buy all 12 volumes by Viz Media, or you can buy 4 Viz Bigs, which is going to be their omnibus version, which will have 3 in 1. Plot-wise, I looked up Wikipedia for that one. The story revolves around Hatsumi Nakahara, a passive 16-year-old girl who lives in a company housing complex that is ruled by the tyrannical Miss Tachibana, the wife of the company's vice president. How a family behaves in the complex can affect the employee's status in the company. When her promiscuous younger sister, Akane, thinks she might be pregnant, Hatsumi gets talked into buying her a pregnancy test. Unfortunately, things don't go exactly as planned, and Hatsumi is blackmailed by Ryoki Tachibana, the arrogant teenage son of the powerful Tachibana family who bullied her as a kid, into being his slave. This is considered a romance, comedy, drama. Despite it saying it's a comedy, it isn't really a comedy. The funny parts aren't all that funny, and there's not a whole lot of it. It's very serious half the time. This is one hell of a melodrama. One big soap opera. So if you love soap operas, you'll love this. Also, if you like the high school setting and that teenage high school life, this will bring you that. This is considered as shoujo manga, which makes no sense to me because of the mature content in this. There's only 3 real important characters in this story. It's going to be, of course, the people on the cover. But there's side characters too, which have some sort of an importance, but they don't play as an important role in the first 3 volumes that I would have hoped. The main character, Hatsumi, is a passive character. She plays up the innocent virginal girl school archetype thing really well. She is perceived to be really pretty, but she can't stand up for herself and she has no confidence. And, you know, she's pretty, but she's dumb as a basket. Ryoki, who's the middle blonde boy with the glasses, he's a smart know-it-all guy. He's considered a silent type of what I see. However, he's a pretentious asshole, and he's a virgin that doesn't know how to treat girls. Azusa, I think I said that correctly, is this guy right here with the long brown hair. He is perceived to be very kind and gentle, and he's a very popular model. He was a childhood friend of the other 2 characters, well, most all the characters, and he moved back into the housing complex. However, you find out he has ulterior motives, and he's actually quite an asshole, and he's really sick. And he kind of beats Ryoki in that type of field. Side character-wise, you have a boy named Subaru, who's a dorky otaku boy who loves manga and his Gundams. Akane is another character who is the younger sister of Hatsumi. She's a complete opposite. She's very promiscuous, she's very pretty and hot, but it's also mentioned quite a few times that she has very big boobs. There's also the older brother of Hatsumi and Akane, but he isn't played with all that much until the last volume and towards the end. Art-wise, I would have to say that this is a very plain and very simplistic drawn manga. It's very generic, but it's not ugly, so don't get that in your head. This manga artist doesn't take full advantage of using backgrounds at all, so there will be a lot of shots where it's just the characters. And there is images of buildings and cityscapes. It's an actual picture, pixelated to look like a drawing, which looks really bad. Seeing that this was made in 2000 and the computer power isn't the same as it is today, I can give some slack on that. Some of the pictures come out a bit stretched, and it's very apparent in the extras at the end of each volume. The screen tones are sometimes used really strangely when they are used. There's not a whole lot of them in here, but when they are used, sometimes they're really weird that I actually point out. I'm like, what was she thinking? Why did she do that? Why is there a random polka dot going through the image? Also, maybe seeing that this was maybe possibly made in 2000, and I don't know how good Viz Media was with their translating and the use of Photoshop. There are some bubbles that I think they could have done better, and I know that some scanlation groups could have done way better at. But thus, this is a good translation, but it needs a bit of an update. Personal thought-wise, I'm going to try not to ramble because I'm conflicted. I'm really conflicted about this. Seeing that I only got this to see what the series is like, the first 3 volumes are really rapey. They're really, really rapey. And which is fine. I don't mind controversial content. I don't mind mature content. However, I don't really like how how every single male in this story is a creepy not a pedophile, but a creepy pervert that wants to take the virginity of this girl. I don't like any of the characters. I don't care. I just don't get the characters. I don't get her. I think she's dense. I think she's stupid. She's stand up for herself. I feel like the author wants you to feel emotions while reading this and have some sort of attachment to all of the characters. However, it's really hard to do so because the one emotion I feel reading this, or the one emotion I felt reading this entire thing was frustration, anger, annoyance. None of those have anything to do about romance. So when a romantic scene does happen, I don't care. I feel that the main character is a fucking idiot. That she allows certain things to happen to her and she can't stand up for herself, and it makes me frustrated. Really frustrated. I think just because I would never let the things that happen to this girl happen to me. It's hard to read. It's really hard for me to read this while this boy right here calls her her sex slave and tries to force himself onto her, and she doesn't fight back. She just stands there scared and is petrified, but she doesn't fucking fight back. And it's through the entire story this is happening. I can see Nerve and being paralyzed through a situation the first maybe 2 times that he tries to force himself on her, but after the 3rd and who knows how many more times it happens, why the fuck are you just standing there? Fucking punch him. And then in the 3rd volume, they're going to try to make it a romance where he actually really likes her and he doesn't know how to express his feelings really well, which I think is bullshit. I think it's complete bullshit. And then this asshole is a two-faced asshole. I just can't stand the characters. He comes back from being a childhood friend, always looking out for her, and he's doing now the same thing, kind of protecting her from him, but really not. And calling her his girlfriend, and being really nice and sweet to her. But then you realize towards the end of Volume 2 that he's actually has ulterior motives and wants to hurt someone that actually loves her. And you don't know who that is until the 3rd volume. And then he tries to get her gangbanged by fellow workers of his by giving her alcohol and letting her drink it. There's date rape drugs in this, which is another thing I want to get into. There's actually a warning in here that says, warning, high school students shouldn't drink alcohol. The legal age is 21. And then it says, not to be pesky, but the warning age is 21, or something of that. And I think that's stupid. He put roofies in her drink. That's what you should be warning about. You should be warning, hey, you can't be rapey. You can't rape people. You can't force them to have sex with you. Just because a girl's drunk doesn't mean you can fuck her. It's aggravating. And then at the same time, she's like, oh, it's okay. And then his, model management's like, oh, he seemed so sad after it happened. He cried. Well, fuck you anyway. I don't care if you cried and you have some emotions and you didn't want to do it. If you didn't want to do it and try to get her raped so you can get back at someone, how about not do it in the first place? How about not fucking do it in the first place? This is so aggravating. You have no idea. I don't know how people read this. I want to know. Should I continue reading this? Does it change? Is there any growth in this bitch's character at all that she gets some fucking guts and punches people and tells them, hey, you can't fucking touch me? The younger sister, who's a fucking whore, apparently, or that's how it's like perceived that she is, which is fine, you know, go have sex if you want. However, she's like, I think 14 or 13 years old, which is crazy. But there's also people coming on to her. There's a creepy old guy that tries to pick her up. And, of course, Subaru, or I'm going to call him Subaru because I don't care, who is the otaku boy, kind of saves her, the younger sister, from that old man by fake calling police, which is nice. And I think he's the only nice character in this entire story. Him and his sister. Those are the only two I like. And they're like not even main characters. Her older brother, which I think he's nice, but I'm not sure because all the other guys in the story are complete assholes. Someone tell me, should I continue reading it? Should I buy it and get all 4 of them and read them and see if I actually change my mind on how I feel about everyone? Will I grow to like them? Will the otaku boy and his sister be the only people I like because they're not assholes? And I don't know. This is a very infuriating manga to read. I read it all day today, finished through it, and I can't stand anyone. This is such a hard read. Thank you for listening to my little rant on how much I dislike what was going on in this story. I want to like it. I really do want to like it because I think the story is interesting. However, I don't like the characters' interactions. I'm done with that. If you want to read this story and have the same feelings I have, or not, maybe you love the rapiness and actually can feel all the love that's happening here, you can buy the singlet forms, which is all 12 volumes, or you can buy just this big. Hope you enjoy as much as I have.